We now move into a power talk that brings together some of the most pressing themes of our time this week: trade, talent mobility, and international collaboration as key pillars of global economic advancement. It is a true privilege to welcome a highly distinguished guest and esteemed diplomat whose insights and experience offer a valuable perspective on the evolving global landscape. Moderating this session is Mr. Borko Handjiski, member of the Macedonia 2025 Board of Directors and partner at Oliver Wyman. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to His Excellency, oh my gosh, the Ambassador of the United Arab Emirates to Macedonia. Too excited. I'm just too excited, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to be here today again. As in previous years, today we have a very special guest, especially special guest for me because we are going to talk to the ambassador of the UAE, the country that's been my home for the past decade, the country where my kids were either born or grown up and raised. And we'll talk about UAE's success. The UAE doesn't require much introduction, Ambassador. But before we talk about the UAE, just briefly to introduce yourself, given that it's your first day today as an ambassador to North Macedonia.
So, it seems very fast moving. No, it's an honor to be officially the UAE ambassador to North Macedonia. I spent a couple of days now, and I've seen the beauty that encapsulates North Macedonia. Yes, beautiful scenery, but also beautiful people, very hospitable. The food is great. And there is also an eagerness to connect with foreigners, and really many opportunities that we'll be talking about later. But I'm very honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
We are honored to have you as an ambassador and to have you today at the summit. So thank you. For UAE now doesn't need much introduction, but I will mention just a few things just to set the stage for the discussion. So the population of the UAE, the citizens of the UAE, are far less than our country, just over 1 million people. Yet its economy and its non-oil economy is about 15 times bigger. The reason, or one of the reasons why the UAE has had this success is because it's managed to attract about 8 to 9 million expats to live, work, and invest in the country. And that's really one of the most remarkable things in the UAE. There is no other country that has managed to attract so much relative to its population. So we'll start first about how that story evolved. And just to put it as a context, something that a fellow Emirati friend told me. He said, my father from Sharjah was traveling for a day on a camel to get to Abu Dhabi in his youth. Today, to get from Sharjah to Abu Dhabi, you will cross 0 traffic lights and you will drive the entire time on a 14-lane highway. Same generation. So tell us, Ambassador, what are the key ingredients behind this remarkable economic story?
Thank you so much. I think it has to start from the leadership. Our leadership vision, and that put a strategic plan since the inception of the UAE. We share many, the UAE, first of all, is a combination or a union of 7 semi-independent states. And it's the only confederation that still exists in our region. And of course, they had to compromise before coming together as one country. And that carried over in the vision and the way and the plan forward for the UAE. It complicated with planning everything. We have plans until the year 2071, and I'm sure now they're planning even further than that. In every aspect, leadership, planning is very key. I think one that you wouldn't hear a lot of people talk about is tolerance. This idea of creating livability, if you'd like, a harmonious society where you have many people. We have over 200 nationalities living side by side in the UAE, and they without any problem, without any, because it's not just because it's because of the government strategic planning. Everything is planned, even in that aspect. And of course, the rich history that we had of trading with Asia and the West. I grew up in a small village. I'm a Bedouin by nature, and I grew up in a small village in the middle of, right at the heart of the middle of the UAE. And, I hear my grandmother stories about famine periods when the sole the backbone of our economic back then was pearls. So my grandfather would go for months into the sea, in the shallow Gulf waters, and they will be hunting for pearls that they will be selling to India, for example. India will sell them as jewelry to Europe. And one smart person in Japan cultivating pearls, it collapsed our economy. And that's a lesson for us to diversify our economy. We were very lucky to have oil at the beginning of the 60s and leading to the unification. But we learned our lesson. Diversifying our economy was put as a priority. And now oil accounts for less than a quarter of our GDP. The rest is believe it or not, in a desert. What used to be a desert. Tourism is big. Financial services, energy, things that you do not associate with a country in our region. So that's part of the reason the successes for our.
That's the most remarkable part, in my view, that it wasn't in some areas competitive advantages that were given to you. You created a competitive advantage to be a tourism destination, to be a financial center right in the desert.
And people forget that Dubai didn't have any oil, or doesn't have any oil, but it's one of the most dynamic cities in the world. And
one of the success factors has been the ability to attract talent. Living as an expat, you hear all the possible stories about how talent from all over the world is eager to move to the UAE and moves to the UAE. I'll share the most remarkable story.
Please.
I met someone who during COVID came with his pregnant wife to Dubai because they wanted to escape 2021, the UK, from London. They came for a few weeks. They decided to stay. They found a hospital for her to give birth. They hired a mover to pack their stuff from London, to empty the apartment and move without even going back to do the move. And they stayed in the UAE. How do you achieve this?
I think, like I said, you have to create the ecosystem, or you have to work the livability. At the heart of our always have been, at the heart of the progress we have is human beings. And you can create laws and legislatives that are leading the region into modernity and into delivering services, into attracting investors, into and there's so many aspects that enrich our lives. I think one important aspect is investing in human beings and making sure that and everything falls into place.
Clear. So, for a country like ours, this is also something relevant, because what we saw in COVID, a lot of digital nomads started moving around and choosing place to where to live based on the quality of life that the UAE has is now known for, and something that we here have some advantages that we could build on to attract similar talent looking for a place to live, not necessarily a job, because the job is with them or it comes from the place they currently live. The other, let's say, uniqueness about the Euro, the other success beyond attracting talent, is the fact that the UAE is a great place for doing business. It's very easy to invest, to do business, to grow. Fact, or basically the evidence, about 70% of the Fortune 500 companies have the regional headquarters for the either Middle East or Europe and Middle East in the UAE. Was this a deliberate part of those plans that you mentioned? And what did you focus on to make it so easy for businesses to set up and invest?
I think, like you mentioned, if I want to add that the UAE leads 205 indices in the region and in the world. So we rank first and top in things like transparency and digitization, internet speed, and to many other things, 200 indicators. And that's part of the, I think that leads to all the progress you see, and the intentional focus that we had. And it's rarely that I be in a country that is younger than my country. We're 53 years old. We were unified in 1971. So that's after when we celebrated the 50 years of independence, we thought about the next 50 years, hence the 2071 strategy plan. And we basically, focused on the future. And what's the future? What will the future entail? We know innovation is a big part of the future. We know artificial intelligence is a big part of where we are going. We know that we need renewable energy is a big part of the environment. We hosted COP28 2 years ago, and being a part of the world, having this eye for the future, it's easy to make plans according and to I'll give you, we have a strategy also for artificial intelligence. One of the ideas is to have the world or our community, and how can you galvanize all the community, business people, private sector, and have them quickly adopt artificial intelligence. Well, I'm happy to be one of the first graduates of Mohammed bin Zayed University for Artificial Intelligence. It's the first ever postgraduate university for artificial intelligence. So you have a diplomat. I had in the same class the head of the zoo. We had people from the colleagues from the municipality, from the private sector, from fintech, from cybersecurity, all studying about artificial intelligence. And this holistic approach, I think, is one of the ingredients into adapting to.
So now that you mentioned AI, could you share a bit more about what's the right way to approach, from a government perspective, encouraging AI adoption or even AI innovation? What could be some of the things that the UAE is doing or about to launch that would be relevant for our country?
I think a national strategy for artificial intelligence is a must. Every country has to be thinking about artificial intelligence and the impact it will have. A lot of people are busy with talking about will it take over, but what we should be thinking about is how can we adapt it? How can I, as a diplomat, adapt artificial intelligence, innovation, digitization, delivering services for Emiratis abroad? Or, for example, now if a company, I'm sure companies will approach me, say, how can we do business in the UAE? And I have a platform as an embassy where I can take the company's information and match them using artificial intelligence. You match them with counterparts, or maybe if it's fit, establishing their own presence and all of that. So national strategy is important, but don't wait for the government to. Every business should be looking at how can I incorporate what technology can offer me, how can I deliver better. And there are so many resources out there, open to the public, or using your partnerships with the countries like the United States, with Turkey, with the United Arab Emirates. I know we have signed an economic partnership where we will be cooperating, including government services. So there are many ways that will.
Talking about AI related to the step before AI has been digitization, and that's one of the priorities of the government. That's another area that the UAE is ranking at the very top of those indices. Practically almost every service by now, 95% plus of the services the government provides to citizens and businesses is digitized. Even the justice system, court cases are end-to-end digitized, yes, from the email receipt of a notification to show up to the team's online to the adjudication and decision-making. What are some of the lessons of how to do this well, how to do this fast, that would be relevant for North Macedonia?
I think, like I said, cooperating with key partners is something very important. I think that because you can't do it alone, attracting expertise from, and that's why I was so excited about being here with you, because I can see so many entrepreneurs from around the world who, by just meeting and talking to each other, establishing relationship, can really make a big difference in how we.
Clear. To go back to the point about leadership,
yes.
The UAE has had 2 generations of successful leaders that have been basically driving this economic development journey.
Yes.
What are the key traits or the key, let's say, decisions that the leaders have made that you think were the most impactful in this journey?
I think, first of all, you have to talk about what makes a leader, and how a leader can, with his vision or her vision, can impact the future, can impact what can you give back to your country, how do you lead a country. And we were blessed with a leadership that, like I said, the rulers of the 7 Emirates, when they came and established the UAE, they had to forego a lot of their their power for this to work. So they have to consolidate and work together in this. So I think that's an aspect that we were fortunate at the beginning of the establishment of the UAE. And then this vision that I talked about, putting these strategic plans, the self-confidence that our leaders had in a region that is unfortunately had a lot of trouble. And I think we share some of the, with North Macedonia and this. There were a lot of wars during the history of around us. But our leadership had stayed focused on investing in human capital. That's very important. For example, I lived up until 18 in a small village oasis in the middle of the desert. After graduating from high school, I was offered a scholarship for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And I went overseas to study in the US mainly. And I came back, and so these kind of investments. Another thing that I saw the Macedonian government do is reach out to Macedonians outside of, like yourself, who had experience overseas, who are, and come back and give back to the community. I think that's a great part of, we talked about being in touch with the people. So the president has every Tuesday meets with regular people, and from high officials to just illiterate common Bedouins or farmers or who come and give grievances. Or he's always talking to people, visiting people in weddings and funerals, and this human touch, I think, is great. And I think anybody who met with him, or His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, or His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, can see that relatability, that they are in touch with and one thing that's very important, I think, that successful, that their compassion, their empathy. The compassion and empathy for a leadership is very important. Anybody who met their highnesses can attest to something that struck them as very down to earth, or anybody. I don't care who you are. If you are a driver of a bus or a taxi or something, or if you are a foreign leader, or there is always a story that you come out with through that aspect.
Clear. Now, if we may move to the UAE and North Macedonia,
yes.
And what are the areas, what are the opportunities to collaborate, at least in the economic sphere? So as of now, we have relatively small trade between the two countries. We are proud that some of the beautiful marble that goes into Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque comes from here. We are also proud that Macedonian apples are in the supermarkets in the UAE.
Yeah, they're delicious.
But beyond that, there are a lot of businessmen here in the audience. What would you suggest are the opportunities between the two countries, and how to go after them?
Like I said, I've had the pleasure of visiting different places, free zones, and Obaid Lake. I visited the ski area with little snow, but it was interesting for me to see the diversity of North Macedonia, what it has to offer for the world. This strategic location, just like the strategic location of the UAE between Europe, Asia, and Africa, I think here, North Macedonia, with what God gave it, and natural beauty, but also potential offers a great potential. I think there is a great opportunity in energy. Energy transition in the world is everybody's talking about it. Not just being solar and wind and hydro, which I think has great potential here in North Macedonia, but also nuclear. We have to think about that. Agribusiness, agri-tech, how can you move forward? I think it's a great area of opportunity. Industry, you have, I think, good infrastructure for industry across the board. And I think this is an area of interest. Tourism, and the hotel, and if you create more connectivity, I think this will help also. This is an area of interest for us. But honestly, I've seen so many opportunities in North Macedonia that need to be explored. And you need to be reaching the world. You need to be out there talking about these opportunities.
So in this regard, what's your, let's say, vision for your mandate, 3 or 4 years in this role? What would you like to see in terms of strengthening the collaboration between the two countries?
I think we need to do more trade. We have to do. And one more advice for entrepreneurs out there: think of what you can offer, not what you can get. This is the most important. Go in the mindset of, okay, how can I grow the UAE? Don't talk about your company, or how can I grow the UAE economy, for example? What can I do? What will I offer before thinking or talking? You're always thinking about what you want to get out of it. But this is just a little advice. I hope, coming back to your question, I hope to wake up every day thinking about what I can do more to connect businesses and people, build these people-to-people bridges. I hope, I paint a little bit, so I hope culturally I can connect with North Macedonian, vibrant, what I saw from the upcoming and the history of culture and art in general, and what I saw in this beautiful capital city. And I think this is an area where I would like to work more. And by the way, you have a great ambassador in the UAE. He knows very well not only the UAE but the region. He speaks the language. He just like me, he wakes every day thinking, what can I do for North Macedonia? So between the two of us, and I have to mention the recent visit by the Prime Minister, which I think is a great step forward in bringing us closer together. The investment opportunities talked about and ways we can enhance our relationship is amazing. And I hope to continue implementing their vision for that relationship.
So on this implementation, the UAE invests over $1 trillion abroad. These are the reserves that the country has accumulated, or at least Abu Dhabi, including a lot of investments in the region, in Serbia, in Albania, Montenegro. What are some lessons that you would share here with the Macedonian government and businesses on how to make this success? What are the success factors from those investments?
I think the incentives that the government gives for private sector businesses, for countries, open up the opportunities for them. That's a great. The connectivity, I think, plays a big part in in enhancing this particular relationship. North Macedonia has a great strategic location, honestly. Any train, any highway has to go through North Macedonia. So I think that's a great potential. My advice is to realize this potential and create partnerships, meet people, use not just the embassy, which we're very happy to assist, but people like you who have worked in the region and the UAE and the countries abroad who have lived elsewhere. I think that's a great thing. And so I commend the organizers for their invitation. Thank you so much. And for what they have been able to put. This is exactly the kind of events that you want to have if you want to advance in the future.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Thank you for being here. Welcome again.